Have you ever felt like the same people, the same pain, just keeps finding you, no matter how far you run? Like you're tired of being hurt, but too human to feel nothing at all? Then stay, because this video won't teach you how to avoid pain. It'll teach you how to become someone it can't touch. From childhood, we're taught to seek safety, building walls, avoiding pain, and chasing comfort. But Nietzsche saw this as a tragic illusion. True strength isn't found in hiding from storms, but in standing within them. Embrace life's risks. Only then do we find real resilience and finally face life on our own terms. The world cannot break you without your permission. This is the core principle of emotional invincibility. The betrayals, the insults, and the losses that feel so devastating are not in themselves the source of your ruin. They're external events, neutral phenomena. The real damage is done internally, in the space between the event and your reaction. It's your interpretation, your narrative, and your emotional investment that transforms a simple action into a soul-crushing wound. Another person's words are only vibrations in the air until you decide they are a judgment upon your worth. A failure is only a setback until you decide it is a final verdict on your capabilities. Nietzsche understood this dynamic with terrifying clarity. He saw that we are our own worst enemies, the architects of our own prisons. Our need to be liked, our desperation to be understood, our thirst for external validation. These are the vulnerabilities that others exploit, often without even trying. They are the open gates to the fortress of your mind. When you depend on someone else for your sense of self-worth, you hand them the power to destroy you with a single word or action. You become a puppet, and your emotions are the strings they pull. To become untouchable, you must cut those strings. You must become the sole author of your own value. This transformation requires a radical form of self-confrontation. It means looking inward and identifying the weak, needy parts of yourself that crave approval from the outside world. This is the essence of what the psychologist Carl Jung would later call shadow work. You must face the part of you that is terrified of being alone, the part that feels worthless without praise, the part that would rather be liked than be free. You do not destroy this shadow. You integrate it. You acknowledge its fears without surrendering to them. You learn to provide for yourself the validation you once sought from others. This is the hardest work you will ever do. Ultimately, becoming untouchable is an internal revolution. It's about rewiring your mind to operate on a different set of principles. You stop seeking fairness from an unfair world. You stop expecting loyalty from fallible people. You release the need for life to conform to your desires. Instead, you cultivate an inner state of sovereign calm. Your peace becomes non-negotiable, your self-worth internally generated. When you reach this state, the actions of others become irrelevant. They can rage and criticize and betray, but they are like waves crashing against a cliff of solid granite. They cannot hurt you, for you are no longer made of something that can be broken. Nietzsche saw a sickness of spirit in the modern world, not from suffering itself, but from our refusal to face it. We flee pain, seeking comfort, but in doing so we deny ourselves growth. True strength is forged by embracing hardship, not avoiding it. Within suffering lies the seed of power, waiting for courage to awaken it. Nietzsche's Amor Fati means loving your fate, not just accepting it, but embracing every joy and pain as necessary. To wish away hardship is to wish away yourself. When you see every event as essential, you reclaim your power, transforming scars into strength. This is the first step toward true invincibility. Nietzsche declared, "To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." Pain isn't noble, but it's inevitable. What matters is what you do with it. For most, pain is an endpoint. For the strong, it's the beginning, a raw material to be forged. Imagine a blacksmith crude ore, hammered and heated, becomes a sword. Your pain is that ore. You can let the fire consume you or use it to shape yourself. The strong mine their wounds for power, extracting lessons and clarity, turning poison into medicine. The world will always give you pain. Will you let it bury you, or will you build your fortress from it? Modern psychology calls it post-traumatic growth. Adversity can transform us, not just restore us. Nietzsche saw life as a forge. We're all thrown into the fire, but we choose how to respond. Resilience isn't innate. It's hammered out in moments of pain, when you stand your ground instead of giving up. Growth comes from facing discomfort, learning from failure, and feeling loss fully. Each choice to endure adds strength to your character. The invincible don't seek calm seas. They become master sailors, using storms to propel themselves forward. Adversity becomes opportunity, testing and refining your strength. Humans can endure any how with a powerful why. Pain isn't the enemy, meaninglessness is. The task is to become an artist of meaning, shaping chaos into a narrative of growth. You decide what your suffering means, you turn wounds into sacred scars. The universe throws pain, but you control the story. Infuse your pain with purpose, and it becomes the tool that carves your legend. No one can ruin your peace unless you let them. It's easier to blame others, but Nietzsche demands you see the breach was an inside job. If you're the problem, you're also the solution. The cage is built from your own beliefs and attachments. True freedom isn't the absence of cages, but realizing you've always held the key. Take ownership of your inner world. Your peace is your responsibility. This is the moment you stop waiting to be rescued and start freeing yourself. Here's the truth Nietzsche would approve of. Suffering is unavoidable. But suffering alone? That's a choice. If you're serious about turning emotional pain into clarity and control, therapy isn't weakness, it's strategy. Online therapy gives you real CBT tools, live sessions, and even WhatsApp support. Links in the description. It's not about feeling better, it's about becoming unshakable. To become the solution, you must face your shadow, the parts of yourself you deny. Strength isn't pretending you're not weak, it's confronting your fragility. Your pain, fear, and weakness are teachers pointing to where you're not yet free. Ignoring your shadow leaves you ruled by unconscious drives. The work is to sit with your ugliness, admit your vulnerabilities, and integrate them. When you own your weakness, no one else's judgment can touch you. In accepting your shadow, you transform it into unshakable strength. The need to be liked is an invisible chain we hand to the world, tightening with every compromise of our truth. It makes us fragile, easy to control. To be free, value your own integrity above approval. Take back the leash. Walk alone, grounded in your own self-possession, and let the world's judgment become mere noise. What's one thing someone did to you that still echoes in your head? Not for revenge, just to realize what part of you still wants to heal. Drop it in the comments. No shame, only clarity. The sovereignty of the self means becoming the undisputed ruler of your own mind. You are the sole authority on your worth, the final arbiter of your truth, and the only judge whose verdict matters. When you are your own source, the world loses its power over you. You are no longer the problem, you are the unbreakable, sovereign solution. Nietzsche's Übermensch is not about safety, but freedom. The herd seeks comfort and protection, but the overman chooses the open sky, embracing risk, struggle, and growth. True strength is found in exposure, not security. To live fully is to choose freedom over safety again and again. If this feels like it's saying what you've always felt, but never heard out loud, subscribe. This channel is for people turning pain into power. The Übermensch does not avoid conflict. He rises above it. He does not stoop to the level of his attacker, nor does he flee. Like a mountain enduring the storm, he remains unmoved, his honor and purpose self-defined. You rise above by focusing inward, building your own cathedral, until the noise below fades away. You do not become strong by being untouched. You become strong by surviving what should have broken you. Suffering is not a tragedy, but a sacred trial, an initiation. The fire of pain burns away all that is not essential, forging your true self. You are defined by the fact that you walked through the fire and did not yield. The Übermensch is not born, he is made, and he is made from the wreckage of his former self. The process of becoming unbreakable is not one of gentle, linear improvement. It is a violent and chaotic cycle of destruction and rebirth. You must be willing to let the person you are die in order to become the person you are meant to be. This means that at some point, the comfortable identity you have constructed for yourself, your beliefs, your values, your sense of who you are, must be shattered. This shattering is often experienced as a profound crisis, a dark night of the soul where everything you thought was true falls apart. Most people fear this dissolution above all else. They cling desperately to the fragments of their broken self, trying to piece it back together exactly as it was. They want to return to the way things were before the crisis, before the pain. But the Übermensch understands that this is impossible and undesirable. He knows that the old self had to break because it was too small, too weak, too constricted for the life that was calling to him. The shattering is not the end. It is the necessary clearing of the ground so that something new and far greater can be built in its place. This is the act of reforging. Like a broken sword, you cannot simply be glued back together. You must be melted down in the hottest fires of your suffering, reduced to your molten essence. The impurities, the hidden cracks, the weaknesses in the old structure are burned away. From this purified material, a new self can be forged. This new self is not just a repaired version of the old one, it is a complete recreation. It is stronger, sharper, and more resilient because it has been consciously and intentionally shaped by the wisdom gained through its own destruction. You are both the broken metal and the master blacksmith. This requires immense courage. It is the courage to let go of who you were, to stand naked in the forge of the unknown, and to actively participate in your own remaking. You must choose the new form you will take. You will decide that the new self will be more self-reliant, more honest, more disciplined, more aligned with your deepest values. You take the pain of the breaking and use it as the hammer to shape the new you. Every blow is a conscious choice to become stronger. The Übermensch is the ultimate self-made man, not in a material sense, but in a spiritual one. He is the one who has dared to break himself apart and reforge himself into a work of art. Imagine walking through a rain of knives, yet remaining completely unharmed, not because the knives are dull, but because you've become uncuttable. The Übermensch is invincible, not by dodging life's storms, but by transforming within. Judgments and betrayals shatter on his unbreakable core. The rain of knives keeps falling, but it's just weather now. You walk calmly, complete. At the heart of Nietzsche's philosophy is a single, powerful command: love your fate. Not just acceptance, but a passionate embrace of everything, joy and pain, triumph and loss. To wish away even a single sorrow would unravel the tapestry of your being. This unconditional yes is the most profound declaration of power a human can make. Every piece of your story is essential, every piece of it loved. The breakup did not ruin you, the betrayal did not destroy you, the failure did not define you. These moments revealed you. Your deepest wounds are also your most profound revelations. Thank the experiences that hurt you most, not in a masochistic way, but as a student thanks a brilliant teacher. The wound did not ruin you, it was the beginning of you. For some, the past is a heavy anchor, a burden of regret. But for the warrior philosopher, it's a weapon an arsenal of hard-won lessons, scars as proof of survival and strength forged in fire. Your history, with all its darkness, becomes the source of your authority and the sharp edge of your wisdom. Who are you? The average person, well, they define themselves by external, transient things. They are their job, their relationship status, their accomplishments, their social standing. Their identity is a fragile house of cards, built on foundations that can be swept away at any moment. When they lose their job, their identity crumbles. When a relationship ends, they feel as though a part of them has died. They are what happens to them, but only in the most passive and vulnerable sense. Their sense of self is like a reflection in a pool of water, distorted and shattered by every stone that's thrown into it. The practice of Amor Fati offers a radically different path to identity. It's the ultimate alchemy. It teaches you to build your identity not from the fleeting successes or the calm waters, but from the very stones that were thrown. Your identity becomes fused with what you have survived. You're not the person who was betrayed. You're the person who survived betrayal and forged wisdom from its ashes. You're not the person who failed. You're the person who endured failure and built resilience from its rubble. Your identity is no longer the event itself, but your heroic response to it. It becomes something that cannot be taken from you. This creates a self that is anti-fragile, a concept that goes beyond mere resilience. The resilient object withstands a shock and remains the same. The anti-fragile object is actually strengthened by shocks, chaos and stresses. By loving your fate, you're actively turning every attack, every hardship and every wound into a catalyst for growth. You're literally using the negative energy directed at you as fuel for your own evolution. The more life throws at you, the stronger you become. Your identity is no longer a static thing to be protected, but a dynamic living process that feeds on adversity. This is the final secret of becoming untouchable. You build your sense of self upon the very things that were meant to destroy it. Your scars become your armor. Your past tragedies become your epic mythology. Your deepest wounds become the wellspring of your greatest strengths. When you reach this point, what could possibly harm you? To attack you is to strengthen you. To wound you is to reveal a new depth of your power. By loving your fate, you perform the ultimate act of alchemy. You transform the lead of suffering not just into the gold of strength, but into the very diamond core of your indestructible identity. You are what has happened to you, and it has made you, well, magnificent. The people who hurt you do not get to define you. The myth of closure keeps us waiting for something only we can give ourselves. True closure is not a transaction. It's a declaration of independence. You have everything you need to move forward already within you. You owe them nothing. You owe yourself everything. Nietzsche did not teach revenge. He taught evolution. Revenge is the preoccupation of the weak. It's a base and reactive instinct that keeps you chained to the person who harmed you, locked in a downward spiral of bitterness. To dedicate your energy to plotting their downfall, to wishing them ill, to celebrating their misfortunes, is to admit that they still control you. Your emotional state is still dependent on their fate. You are drinking poison and hoping they will die. Nietzsche saw this as a pathetic waste of the will to power. It is an investment of precious energy into the past, into destruction, when all power lies in moving forward into creation. The superior response is not revenge. It is silence. It is strength. It is evolution. You do not overcome your enemies by destroying them. You overcome them by becoming something so far beyond them that they cease to be relevant. Your success, your growth, your joy, these are not things you do at them. They are things you do for yourself. The goal is not to prove them wrong. The goal is to become so right with yourself that their opinion becomes less than meaningless. It becomes noise. Your evolution is the ultimate indifference. You are not playing their game anymore. You have left the board entirely and have begun to design your own. This is a cold and powerful path. It requires you to release the hot, satisfying burn of indignation and replace it with the cool, disciplined focus of self-mastery. When you feel the pull of resentment, you channel that energy into your work, your body, your mind. You build, you create, you grow. You let them watch you from a distance if they are watching at all and see you transform into something they cannot understand and can no longer touch. Your silence is more damning than any insult you could ever hurl. Your progress is more devastating than any revenge you could ever enact. This is the ultimate dismissal. You're not forgetting what they did. You're rendering it insignificant. The memory of the wound becomes nothing more than a footnote in the epic story of your own becoming. You do not forgive them for their sake. You move on for yours. Forgiveness is not weakness, but forgetting who you are and what you are capable of becoming is the greatest weakness of all. So you walk forward, you evolve. You let your actions be your only statement. You let your silence be the final word. The lion does not concern himself with the opinions of the sheep. He simply continues his hunt for the sun. You do not walk forward to prove them wrong. You walk forward to become right with yourself. This is the final, crucial distinction on the path to becoming untouchable. So much of what is branded as self-improvement today is secretly a performance for an external audience. We want to get in shape to make an ex jealous. We want to become successful to show our doubters. We want to appear happy to spite those who wished us misery. This entire mindset, while motivating in the short term, is still a form of bondage. Your actions are still a reaction to them. You are still dancing on their stage, even if you are the star of the show. True freedom, the freedom of the Übermensch, is found when you sever this final thread. Your journey of self-overcoming must be for you and for you alone. It must be driven by an internal imperative, a deep need to align with your own highest potential. You are not trying to win a game against them. You are trying to win a war for your own soul. The goal is not their validation or their regret. The goal is your own integrity. It is the feeling of rightness that comes from knowing you are living in accordance with your own chosen values, regardless of who is watching or what they think. To become right with yourself means to build an inner world so complete, so robust and so satisfying that the dramas of the outer world lose their appeal. You cultivate your own gardens, you build your own temples, you forge your own laws. Your standard of success is your own. Your definition of happiness is your own. You become your own point of reference. When you reach this state of inner alignment, the need to prove anything to anyone simply evaporates. It seems like a childish and exhausting game you no longer have any interest in playing. This is the ultimate liberation. You are finally, truly free. You are not acting out of spite or anger or a need for vindication. You are acting out of love, a deep and abiding love for the person you are choosing to become. You owe them nothing because they are no longer part of your equation. They are ghosts from a previous life, figures in a story that is no longer about you. Your story is now about the ascent. It is about the difficult, glorious and solitary climb toward your own peak. And from that height you will look back not with anger or with triumph, but with a profound and silent indifference. You were simply a chapter. But I am the whole book. The journey to becoming untouchable ends not with a final wall, but with a quiet shift within. You stop resisting what is, life, people, pain. True strength is found in letting go, not fighting harder. The world may rage, but it can no longer find a foothold within you. You are free. That which does not kill me makes me stronger. But the unspoken truth is this: what does not kill me should learn to fear me. I have become a force of nature, calm, unbreakable, transformed. The person I was is gone. That which does not kill you should fear you next time. If this video helped you see your pain differently, like, share and subscribe. Comment below, what truth from Nietzsche hit you the hardest today? And if you're ready to rebuild your mind with real tools, the link to online therapy is in the description. Nothing and nobody can hurt you once you remember who you are.